What's going on, guys? Stefan here with you, S&E's Garage. Today we are in the shop with a 2015 Honda CRV. This is a base model all-wheel drive CRV. See, we have the steel wheels here, black cloth interior, and like I said, it is all-wheel drive. And it is in today for a four-wheel brake job. So what we are using here, you've seen us use these before on our other cars on this channel. We're using all Rabisto's coated rotors, front and rear. We do coated because here in New Jersey and in New York in the salt belt, these cars are subject to a lot of road salt and other corrosive elements, if you will. So we like them coated because it keeps the top hats and a lot of the rotor surfaces from rusting. And then we are using Rabisto's ceramic pads. So the first thing we're going to do, we went ahead, we already jacked the car up. We jacked it right up here from the front subframe. The front jacking point is right here. You'll see it. There's a little cutout in the lower valence for it. And then as a backup, we have our jack stands here on the pinch welds. So we got that all set up. Front wheels are off the ground. We're going to pull those wheels off. They are 19 millimeter lug nuts. We're going to use our impact gun and zip them off. All right, guys. So here we have our brake assembly. Here's our rotor. Here's our caliper bracket. First thing we're going to do is pull these two 14 millimeter caliper bracket bolts, set them aside, and then we're going to take our caliper bracket off, and then we're going to use an impact screwdriver to go ahead and remove this set screw here in order to knock the rotor off. So this car is getting brakes because the dealership recommended them, and this is actually a family member of mine. They live up in New York, and they asked me if I could do them for them, and I said absolutely. Now, personally, I don't think I would have sold these yet. This is at about a 4 millimeter, and if this were my car, I probably would have waited a little bit, but we're here, we have all the parts, so we're going to go ahead and do it. Just be mindful of this. If your dealership tells you need brakes, get a second opinion, because she could have won another couple thousand miles on these easily. But we're going to go ahead and remove these pads, set them aside. Alright, get this one out. Let me get a screwdriver. Get that one out. And we're going to put these return springs aside. I'm not sure if the new pads are going to come with them, but we'll find out. Alright guys, caliper bracket bolts back here, 19 millimeter. Wait for the light to turn on. You're going to have one there, one there. You can use a socket and ratchet, but we're going to use my impact gun, swivel and 19 millimeter socket. We're going to zip this bracket right off. Alright guys, so here we have, this is a snap-on impact screwdriver. You don't need a snap-on, but an impact screwdriver is going to save you a lot of time and aggravation for getting that set screw off the rotor, because a lot of times if you try with a regular screwdriver, you'll just strip it and then you have to drill it. So you're just very easily going to put this in here and give it a good tap with the hammer, and you'll see breaks the screw right loose. Set this aside. We're going to give our rotor a nice tap here. Like so. Rotor's loose. We're just going to help it off. Give it a spin. Done. So now we're going to go ahead, clean off the hub a little bit, get our new rotor, slide it on. So we're just going to take a wire brush here, nothing too crazy, and we're just going to go around this hub and get any of the loose rust that we see off. It's really not in the worst shape, so it's not really going to need much. I'm going to call that good. And then we're going to go ahead, get our new rotor. Like I said, these rotors are coated. They're coated with a nice rust preventative paint or spray. So these will prevent these rotors from rusting. Now we're just going to line up our holes here. We're going to take our set screw, and you do not have to impact this back in. The whole idea with this goes back to when the car was built. when it's rolling down the assembly line, they don't want rotors falling on people's heads. That's literally the only reason that screw is there. So that set screw is in, it is set. We're gonna go ahead, take off our caliper bracket here. We're gonna pop the old hardware off, clean this up with a wire brush like you saw, and slap it back together. So you'll see here, we cleaned all the rust and dirt out of this surface here where the hardware sits. We're gonna go ahead, use those 19mm bolts, put the bracket back on. We're gonna grease these slide pins with Wagner silicone brake lubricant. This is great, doesn't dry out, doesn't, the pins aren't gonna seize up, so we're gonna lube them with this. Stop our pads in, and then we're gonna compress our caliper. I'll show you the tool we're using, and I'm gonna link that down in the description below in case you wanna buy one. Makes this job super easy. Alright guys, so we got our caliper in, we got our hardware in, and we actually did get new return springs, which is nice. Now one thing I did want to make sure I got on video, this squealer here on this side, you want that to be on the leading edge of the rotor. So with the wheel spinning forward this way, we're going to want it up top on the back. So that's where this one's going to go. We're going to go ahead and get our pads in, set up our return springs, compress the caliper. Alright guys, so here's the caliper compressor we're using. This is made by Lang. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, I'll link this in the description below. This makes the job super easy. We're just going to go ahead, take our old brake pad, stick it in the caliper, and then this guy ratchets out, like so. And then we just let the ratcheting action of this compress our dual piston calipers here. Makes this super easy. No need to use a C-clamp, no need to use anything. Just this tool and maybe an old brake pad gets the job done. Alright. So now we got that compressed. We're going to go ahead, take our new return springs, slide them in. Here's number one. Here's number two. We're going to take our caliper, make sure that our hose is not kinked, and we're going to slide it over and on. Alright, we're going to take our 14mm caliper bolts here, 1 and 2. Alright, we're just going to tighten them down. Alright guys, and just like that, you went ahead and replaced the front brakes on your Honda CRV. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. I'm not going to record it. It's literally the same process. Alright guys, now that we're done with all 4 brakes, we're going to go ahead and torque our wheels down to 80 foot-pounds with our torque wrench here. We're going to do this to all 4 corners. Alright guys, and that'll do it. So if this video helped you do the rear brakes on your Honda CRV, please like, share, subscribe. We're just going to go take this thing for a ride. Make sure everything's all good, but we'll see you on the next one.
Satisfied customer. Thank you.
Drive safe.